Good morning, my family. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, canning recipes, a little bit of everything. We are on a planting spree today. And what are we planting right here? Cucumbers. And I'm going to explain to you why we're planting our cucumbers this way. Stay tuned. So I already got my squash and zucchini in the ground out here in the big high tunnel. Hoping that this is going to take off. We got quite a bit in the little high tunnel as well. And this morning I've started some purple hull peas and some black-eyed peas, aka cow peas. And the reason why I'm doing them in my little seed starting trays is because the ground just isn't warm enough yet, guys. So we are getting into the low 70s right now. And the ground here in this high tunnel is pretty cool. I don't know what the temperature is, but I have planted some okra over there and it hasn't germinated yet. So that's telling me that my ground is still not warm enough. We expect that it's going to be, but right now we're having low temperatures, around 51 degrees at night. So it's keeping our ground pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and start my purple hulls and my black-eyed peas in these trays so I can get them transplanted. Probably going to be germinated and ready to go in about 14 to 21 days. And that will also help me do my spacing. So excited about that. Now we used to trellis our cucumbers and we'd have good harvest, but not every year. And what was happening is, this is when we planted them outside as well. The wind would take a toll on them. Powdery mildew would get a hold of them. Spider mites would get a hold of them. So last year, we grew our cucumbers in the ground in this high tunnel with weed cloth underneath them. This did a couple of things. It kept any kind of insect damage and any kind of disease from the dirt coming up on our cucumbers and on our fruits. And it also kept our leaves drier. And we had a wonderful harvest last year of cucumbers, both pickling and salad cucumbers. So that's why we're not going to be trellising our cucumbers anymore. We're going to be planting them directly in the ground, and we're going to be using this weed cloth here to kind of give them a barrier to keep insect and mold and mildew down. So every plant that has gone in the ground in this high tunnel, guys, we have put the mycorrhizal on our seeds, and then we're putting them on our transplants. It is very important, and we are seeing a significant change in our soil in here, guys. So you need to try to find you some BioCoat mycorrhizal. It is certainly doing wonders for our soil. You can see over here, and we have that black gumbo clay soil. And Greg has also been using bokashi in planting some of this stuff, and he has learned how to make his own, and we are having fantastic results from it. So here is my tray. I did go ahead and start my cucumbers in these trays to get a head start. And also because of our doodle bug issue, so I wanted to make sure and get me some nice healthy starts going. And so I'm going to get ready to plant these. So right now on this side, this is the Market More. These are the Market More cucumbers. These are the Muncher cucumbers, and these are the pickling cucumbers. These are Boston pickling, I believe, or Chicago pickling. We use them both. They both do really well here. So we're going to get to popping these in the ground. So I have my little seedlings planted, or my little plant starts. Now we want to keep these watered, guys, because it is getting very hot in the high tunnels in the afternoons. So we'll probably have to water these 2 or 3 times a day to make sure they stay damp until they start taking off. And guys, I have canned beets every day, and we still have quite a bit going. Greg's got some in the freeze dryer as well. So, woo-wee, we have an overload of beets. And back here are our pepper plants. We've got cayenne peppers, bell peppers, poblano peppers, banana peppers. So we are excited to see all of this come to fruition. So back to my purple hull, my black-eyed peas, aka cow peas. So how am I going to be planting those? So Greg put a bunch on the back acre because it is an excellent cover crop. But another thing that is very good for in companion planting is your tomatoes. So when these come up, I'm going to go on the row next to my tomatoes, and I'm going to plant a plant. in between each tomato bush because it is very good for your tomatoes. It helps with the nitrogen intake. And so that's another companion planting for you guys. Another thing I did with our companion planting is I put some chamomile around my green beans, my bush beans out there, because that is an excellent companion planter method as well. Now these are all ways to ward off insects, ward off disease. So start looking into your companion planting, and when you're planting in your garden this year, go and look it up and do some research and find out what you can plant next to whatever it is you're planting to make it prosper a little bit better and be a little bit better. So another couple of things that we've put around many of our tomato plants out here, all of my tomato plants in the little high tunnel, but many out here are basil. We put basil, and then around our pepper plants, we put cilantro and dill. Those are great companion plants for your peppers. And so we have got that going on out here. We are really getting excited about what our harvest may be this year so far. We are in normal spring-like weather, unlike last year when we were already in the upper 90s this time of year, and we stayed that way for a very long time and it was hot. We're doing pretty good on rain. Now, we don't really have any good chances here in the Metroplex or in my area until at least Friday and then sometime next week, but that's okay. We've had quite a bit of rain, and it'll do some things, some good to dry out just a little bit. But you can see I still have quite a bit of starts that we intend on getting in the ground, and we're also selling to our community. So we're doing quite well with that. And our starts are just beautiful. They're non-GMO, heirloom variety, open pollinated. We do use that Survival Seed Company, and we're pretty excited about them, and we're impressed, and we're glad that we get a very high germination rate. So I placed some more orders yesterday for some more black-eyed peas and purple hull peas, because I want to make sure that we have enough to go around this big high tunnel, because I intend on getting a large harvest of those, the Lord willing. I'll put their link down below if you're interested, but their prices are way more than competitive, and we've had really great luck with them. So you can see things are picking up in this big high tunnel. I got my squash and zucchini over here. I got squash and zucchini and petty pan white squash up there in front for pop. And yeah, we should start to see things coming to life here in the next 4 to 6 weeks as far as starting to get some harvest, especially in that little high tunnel. My black cream tomatoes are really coming in very nicely. And so I expect to have some tomatoes here real soon, especially some green ones that I can fry up for Pop. That's one of his favorites. But wanted to give you guys an update and go over why we're planting our cucumbers this way, and maybe give you some ideas. I know that trellising is a really big deal, but for us here in Texas and in our area, trellising them, especially on the outside, they get wind damage and they get mildew, the powdery mildew, and then they just don't do very well at all. So we had great success with this last year, so we're repeating. We're going to repeat. Remember that when you have something that's successful, don't change it. Don't change a thing. So anyway, love you guys. Take care. God bless. We'll be in touch.